Alright, welcome everyone to the next service graph video. In this video, we will look at how you can initiate and download packet captures from the service graph. Alright, so when it comes to capturing packets in the service graph, you can either capture packets for an entire namespace or for specific workloads. Now, when you initiate a capture for a namespace, it would capture traffic from all workloads in that namespace, and the capture file will generate a pcap per workload. Okay, whereas when you initiate a capture for a specific workload, you're only capturing packets from that workload. So in this video, we will go through both examples. Okay, so to start off with, let's say if I want to capture traffic from the Kube system namespace, I can right click on this namespace and say initiate packet capture. That's then going to open a pop-up, and I'm going to, for this example, name this job cube-system. Okay, let me say capture, and you can specify and schedule the capture. In this case, let's keep the start and end time as their defaults, and you can also specify a protocol. So for example, if you want to capture, let's say, a TCP traffic on a specific port, you can specify that as well, and in certain cases that might be a good idea. That will limit the size of the capture as well. For this example, I'm going to say any protocol and initiate this capture. Okay, so once I've initiated the capture, in the pane below where you have the capture jobs, you can see that this capture that we just initiated is capturing packets. Okay, so let's let this capture packets for a few more minutes, and in the meantime I'm going to navigate to another namespace. So let's navigate to the bookinfo namespace, and let's go through an example of capturing packets for a specific service or workload. Okay, so inside this namespace, as indicated in the maroon icons, I have a few services and workloads. And if I'm interested in capturing packets for a given service, I can right click on that service. So in this case, I've right clicked on the ratings service. I can initiate a capture, and I'm going to call this the ratings capture. I'm going to keep all the parameters in their default values. Okay, and I'm going to run this capture. So I think I might have another job in that name. So I'm going to call this ratings-capture-1 and initiate this capture. Okay. Alright, so it's waiting for traffic, and it'll soon start, capturing packets. And as you can see, this transition into a capturing state. Okay. So both of these captures, I've scheduled them for about 15 minutes. You may want to, for example, schedule your captures at a certain time, at a future date and time. You can do so by specifying the time window. Okay, and like I said before, it might be a good idea to limit the protocol that you want to capture as well. That way you ensure that the size of your capture remains within kind of manageable parameters. Okay, all right, so let's let those captures run for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back after they are done. Okay. Alright, so we are back in the service graph, and my captures are still capturing packets. Okay, so in the meantime, let's look at a couple of more things. So when you navigate to the service graph, when you're typically in the default view, in the bottom pane, you're going to see all the captures that you have initiated over time. Okay, and you can click on any of these captures to reinitiate a job. Okay, so you can click on a capture and click on run now to reinitiate one of those capture jobs. So in this case, for example, I have a capture targeting a specific workload that I ran previously, and if needed, I could rerun that capture job. Okay, and for jobs that you have currently running, like the ones we just initiated, you can also click on the menu here to stop those capture jobs. So I just stopped the job we initiated, that I had actually previously initiated for the monitoring namespace. In this video, we initiated a capture job for the Kube system namespace. So let me go ahead and stop that as well. and we also initiated a capture job to the targeting the ratings service in the Bookinfo namespace. So let me click and stop that as well. Okay, so I've just stopped the jobs that I had initiated previously in this video. Now once you've stopped those jobs, or once they stopped after the time window has expired, you can come back to this menu, right click on the job and download the capture. Okay, that's then going to download a zip file that you can open, and we will shortly look at what is contained inside that zip file. Okay, all right, so now I have extracted the zip file that was downloaded for the Cube system namespace capture, and this is what's present inside that zip file. So I have a capture for each workload in that namespace. Now I can double click on these captures, and using a tool such as Wireshark, I can analyze the packets that we just captured. And as you can see, in the case of the capture for the core DNS workload, what we see are DNS packets, okay, and we see certain ICMP packets as well. All right, and this is the capture that we have for the rating service in the Bookinfo namespace. So in this case, instead of a capture for each workload in the namespace, we have a capture for the targeted service. Okay. All right, so if I go back to the service graph, I have the two captures that I previously initiated, and if needed, I could run these captures again as well, right? So you can click on run now, and that'll immediately start capturing packets for those capture jobs. Okay, or else you can also download the YAML manifest for the capture and automate the packet capture process. That way, let's say you can trigger packet captures based on certain events or incidents, in your clusters. For example, let's say a security event is triggered, in which case you can, by applying the YAML manifest, initiate, a packet capture. Okay, and you can also use the menu here to, for example, delete captures, or delete capture jobs, and sanitize your capture jobs menu in the service graph. Okay. All right, so that's it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. I will see you in the next one. And thanks for watching.